Welcome, dear soul. You didn't land here by accident. Something, maybe within you or far beyond, led you to this exact moment. This is God and the Other Side, where we explore the sacred stories of those who have glimpsed beyond this world and returned to tell the tale. Today's story is one of the most breathtaking, soul-stirring encounters we've ever shared. A man clinically dies during emergency surgery, and in that brief moment between life and death, he says he stood at the very gates of eternity. And there, he met someone he never expected to see so clearly: Jesus. But this isn't a story meant to impress. It's a story meant to wake us up, to remind us how thin the veil really is between this life and what comes after, and how deeply God longs for us, even in the final seconds. Now, before we enter this journey, let me ask you, have you ever wondered what really happens in those mysterious moments when someone flatlines and comes back? Is it brain chemistry? Hallucination? Or is it a divine appointment? And if it is real, what does it say about your life? We'll explore all of this and more. But first, if you find value in powerful stories like this, please like this video, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to God and the Other Side to help us bring more light, truth, and eternal hope into the world. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most. Now, take a breath, open your heart, and come with us beyond the veil. His name was Jonathan Hayes. He was 56, a former firefighter, a father of two, tough on the outside, but like many of us, softened by the years. He grew up in church, but hadn't truly prayed in decades. One winter night, while recovering from a routine surgery, he suddenly went into cardiac arrest. Flatlined. No pulse. No oxygen for over 9 minutes. And during those 9 minutes, Jonathan says he saw something that changed him forever. He describes it like this. At first, there was no pain, no sound. Just stillness. It felt like I was floating, not upward or downward, but through something soft. Like peace was a place. But then, everything shifted. Jonathan found himself standing before an enormous gate, not made of gold, but of light. Pillars that shimmered and breathed with an otherworldly glow. Not harsh, not blinding, but pure, alive. Beyond the gate was music, not like anything on earth. He said it was as if each note was a color, a feeling, and a memory all at once. And then he felt a presence, stronger than thunder, but gentler than any embrace he had ever known. He turned, and there he was. Jesus. Not as a painting, not as an idea, but real, standing just a few feet away, clothed in radiant humility, eyes that saw everything, yet overflowed with love. Jonathan fell to his knees. He didn't have to ask where he was. He knew. There were no words exchanged, not at first, but I felt everything about me being known all at once. He said it was like standing in front of a mirror that reflected not your image, but your soul. And yet, Jesus didn't look at him with condemnation. He looked with sorrow and hope. And then he spoke. "I've always been with you." Jonathan wept. He thought about the lies he'd told, the time he cursed God after his wife's cancer diagnosis, the years he lived chasing success, yet feeling empty. But none of that was thrown in his face. Instead, Jesus showed him something else, a reel of his life seen through the lens of heaven. Moments he thought were meaningless, a stranger he helped on the freeway, a night he sat beside his depressed son without knowing what to say, a prayer he mumbled at 17, long forgotten. Each moment lit up with divine meaning. Jonathan said, "It was like seeing every second of my life, but this time I saw how God had been present through it all." He saw missed opportunities, moments when he ignored a nudge to speak love, but also moments when heaven rejoiced because he chose kindness, even when no one was watching. Then came a question, not from Jesus' lips, but from inside Jonathan's soul. Have you learned how to love? Not how much he accomplished, not how much he gave, not how perfect he was, but did you love? It undid him. He realized love was the currency of eternity, and he had barely begun to spend it. He looked back at Jesus, wanting to stay, but Jesus smiled and said, "Not yet. Someone needs to hear what you've seen." And in an instant, he was back in the hospital, back in his body, tubes, beeping monitors, tears. And the first words he spoke were, "He's real. He's more real than we are." Jonathan changed everything. He sold his business. He started visiting hospices. He reconciled with his estranged brother after 20 years of silence. He smiled more, judged less. And when people asked why, he'd say, "Because I saw the one who loves us, and I can't go back to pretending he's not watching." So what do we take from this? That Jonathan met Jesus? Maybe. But more importantly, that the veil between this world and eternity is thinner than we think. That our lives are being written in invisible ink, soon to be read aloud before the King. And that question, have you learned how to love? It isn't just for Jonathan. It's for you. It's for me. Because on the day we stand before the gates, it won't be about fame, fortune, or flawless doctrine. It'll be about the heart we offered to others and to God. So let me ask you, if today were your last day, would you be ready to stand at the gates? If Jesus looked into your soul right now, what would shine? What would break? What would be left unsaid? Now is the time to live with intention, to forgive quickly, to love boldly, to walk with God not out of fear, but because He already walks with you. If this story moved something in your soul, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to God and the Other Side for more stories like this, stories that reach beyond death and bring us back to life. Your support helps us keep the light burning. Until next time, stay awake, live ready, and never forget, you are seen, you are loved, and the gates are real.